Hello, welcome back once again to Mick's vintage paperback books and digest, which is what I'm going to do today, talking about an American publishing called Exotic Novels, which sounds really saucy. Trust me, they're not. But the covers are a little bit saucy, but the actual stories within are just romance novels. But but they're great artwork. We're starting in the late 40s, 1949, with Exotic, and they were published by Astro publishing company in New York. And the little thing with this is Exotic and their sister company, Ecstasy, when they first got into it, Exotic were first, and as they got through the year of 1949, they went alternate. So Ecstasy would be the next month, so in February of 1950, and then it would go to March would be Exotic, and April would be back to Ecstasy. So yeah, they were going from Exotic to Ecstasy. Oh, sounds really cool, doesn't it? But they're just romance novels, nothing saucy about them at all. But you can imagine, as I said before, gentlemen of an age going into the local drugstore or newsagents, whatever, in the 1940s and 50s and purchasing these particular digest books. They were seen as risky. They were seen that the artwork was very risky, and a gentleman would take this home and hide it in his garage or in a special place so that the wife didn't find it, because they were seen as being very risky. And really, apart from the artwork, they're not. But the artwork's fantastic, and that's what I'm going to talk about today. Published by Astro in New York. I'll go through the numbering system as we go through it. I've got every one of the Exotic novels, so I'm very lucky. I've got the whole set, and I'll talk about that today. So yeah, great artwork. The romance novels that are within, there's no real crime or noir with this particular series. It purely is down to good old-fashioned artwork that sells a copy, and that's what they relied on. And there's some great artists within like Rodewald, George Gross, Howard Dodd. They're all here painting these covers and selling books for these people. And when the gentleman got home and the wife had popped out and to go and get some cakes or to buy get the supermarket stuff for their TV dinners back in the 40s and 50s, he decided to read one of these. I can just see the disappointment on his face. I've read most of these, and they are just romance novels, usually from like the 1930s and 40s, early 30s, and there's nothing spicy about them at all. But hey, let's delve in to digest books from the late 40s from Exotic novels. Hello everybody, here we are. Exotic novels. So this is the entire set. I'm very, very lucky to own, and I'm going to go through them and try and go through the numbering system as well. It's a little bit tricky, but this was the first one they produced, Astro, in this particular sort of twin set of books. They started with Exotic and then they branched out to Ecstasy. And I've left the first one here just without the cover on, so we can just go through it a little bit. But this is from April 1949, Pay for My Kiss by Luther Gordon. It was actually James N. Gifford, and that was the pseudonym used. And that artwork is Fred Claude Rodewald, and it's marvellous. She wanted a husband and she didn't care whose. Well, and there she is in her saucy stockings, hanging around some alleyway somewhere. She sounds quite exciting, but you have to pay for her kiss, so don't forget that, gentlemen. Uncensored as well at the top. My copy's got a little crease, as you can see, going down the side there, but it's a tough one, as all of these are, all very, very tough. Various conditions, but if you just look at this particular book, Pay for My Kiss, inside we've got posed by professional models, April 1949, and that's basically what you get, and lots of romancy, a little bit risky, but nothing too bad, and a very, very hard book to find. And there's the blurb at the back with various other publications at the time. But yeah, it's this copy's not bad. But yeah, Fred Claude Roadward with some really special art, and a very tough book to find from 1949. You just got to think, we just come out of the Americans had just come out of the war, as did the British, and this, if you saw this on a newsstand, you would whip out your 35 cents, which was quite a lot of money back then for a magazine. Most comics and stuff were sort of 10, 15 cents. Exotic novel, that's what you're paying for. A very nice too. Just on the back, with most of these early copies, they've got this advertisement on the back, all from Astro Distributing Corporation, East 32nd Street, New York, and that's where you could send off for your cover under plain wrapper, no doubt. Yeah, very nice indeed. So that's the first one in the series from 1949. Pay for my kiss. On to the second one now. Any Man's Girl. She was easy, apparently. I don't know how easy she was, but she seems quite easy. Again, we've got that beautiful artwork by Fred Claude Roadward. There's no denying there. We're into June, so they missed out May, and we've gone straight into June for the second one in the series. Any Man's Girl, again by Luther Gordon, James N. Gifford, and beautiful artwork by Mr. Roadward. There's no doubt that he could paint. Another fiery novel by the author of Immoral. And very nice it is too. As with all these digests, they don't actually have a fixed spine. They're, hence why they're called digests. They're like little magazines. This one has obviously got some wear on that edge there, but apart from that, it's in pretty good shape. Very lovely it is too. Anyway, that's Any Man's Girl. Next one in the series, Divorce Bait by James Clayford. Unknown artist on this one, but by Jove, that's a good bit of painting there by Mr. whoever, or Mrs. Could have been a Mrs. painted, I don't know. We could speculate on who it was, I don't know, but I do know it's written by James Clayford, who was Peggy Cadiz. And this is from August 1949. Exotic novel. So they're not numbered really, they're just going by the date and the year. Again, 35 cents, and she's way too close to that fire in that chiffon negligee. That's a health and safety alert right there. But the gentleman standing there in his dressing gown looks like he's up to something. But I'm worried about the fire, really. This copy is okay. It's not too bad. It's got some chips down the edges and a few little creases here and there. But, yeah, it's in pretty good shape. Hey, I've got some creases as well, but I'm doing all right. Her First Sin, Jack Woodford. Really, really collectible author is R. Jack. Her First Sin, again, very risky. If you look at what she's wearing, her saucy negligee, if you know what that is. As I was a child of growing up in the 70s, that's what the naughty negligee look. Quite daring, that artwork there, and very nice indeed. So this is from October 1949, and after this edition, then Ecstasy started. So I'll do Ecstasy in a separate video, but it was after this one that November became Ecstasy. That was the first one in that particular series. Yeah, beautiful artwork. Unknown artwork as well. I'm not sure who that could be. It possibly could be Hal Dodd, but it's really hard to say. But very nice. Copy again. I've got some creases in and about, but it's a solid copy. October 1949. So yeah, these are old books, and to survive in even reasonable condition is quite difficult. Next one up is By My Love. exclamation mark. Again, Fred Claude Roadwald with that beautiful artwork. I don't think he's trying to make her look like a typical streetwalker or lady of the night. She's got a very sort of different sort of face about her, but it works. The top looks great. She's got it's been really well painted, and you know exactly what you're buying. A passionately moving tale, excitingly illustrated by Perry Lindsay, who's also another pseudonym used by Peggy Gaddis. This copy is in mighty fine condition, and I was lucky to get it for the price I did. Absolutely beautiful. So this is December 1949. This is what you would have bought for Christmas for little Johnny. Simply amazing. And there's the very nice spine there. Not a lot on there really, but yeah, in very good condition. We've seen the I've shown you the British version of this particular book before, but here's the American one. Exotic novel, Passion Slave. As I've said before, that artwork is something else. That's by George. This is by George Gross, and it's a bit special. Showing about the writing just underneath the exotic novel title. This is February 1950. So you remember, Ecstasy's done the January edition. We're now into exotic with February, and by Jiminy, George Gross could paint a young lady. There's no doubt about that. And again, I've got a bit of a crease going all the way down her leg, but you can see it doing up her stockings. Very, very saucy, and would have sold very, very well, I would imagine, at the time. And George Gross signature down the bottom, and you can see why the fold's there, because that's what he would have folded. And I say he because it would have been a he 99% of the time, and it's been folded in half into his jacket or suit pocket because he doesn't want the wife to find that. And I can understand it. In 1950, if you were a wife and you had kids and you were home waiting for your husband to come home from work in New York or Chicago, wherever, and you found him that copy in his pocket, you would be quite upset. I wouldn't, because if I found that in my pocket, I'd be overjoyed. Anyway, Passion Slave, 1950, February 1950. Now, beautiful artwork here. Once There Was a Virgin. Norman Bly. It was William Arthur Neubauer. That was a pseudonym he used, Norman Bly. Beautiful looking book. Artwork by George Gross, and again, George can really draw a young lady, very sort of Betty Page looking lady there. Again, they're in a hayloft. I'm not sure if this is pre nuptials or after nuptials. I don't know, but very buxom young lady, and he seems he seems quite pleased with himself. Her flesh was gold, worth dough to any man. Again, 35 cents, and we're talking, this is April 1950. Once There Was a Virgin. I don't think she was a virgin for long, or maybe it was him, I don't know. And there's a little bit of an advert for Ecstasy, which is their twin company, and I'll do Ecstasy on another video, hopefully in the next sort of week or so. Very nice. This copy's not great, but you know, beggars can't be choosers and all that. Three Men and a Mistress by Florence Stonebreaker. This is June 1950. We skipped a month for Ecstasy, then we're into exotic novel. June 1950. George Gross artwork again. Absolutely wonderful. Three Men and a Mistress. Still 35 cents, worth every cent, in my opinion. And very nice it is too. So that's exotic novel, Three Men and a Mistress. Last one in this particular little run, and we'll go on to the second part. Exotic novel, Susie needs, and in brackets, and gets a man, exclamation mark. I bet you Susie did, bless her. This is Joan Sherman, which is Peggy Cadiz. Again, that was one of the pseudonyms that she used. Again, romance novels with a little bit of sleaze in there, but not too much. And the artwork is by George Gross. And you can tell it's George Gross because it's been painted beautifully. This is from August 1950. You imagine being 1950 in the summer in New York and seeing that on the news kiosk or in the drugstore. Wow. Yeah. There should be a nice little signature by Mr. Gross just behind the exclamation mark. There's George's signature. Again, lady smoking, hanging out the window. It doesn't take Sherlock Holmes to work out what she's doing, but she's doing it very well, I think. And on the back, we've got a little advert for Ecstasy with Reno Tramp. The only book in the series of Ecstasy that I don't own. This is about as near as I've got to it so far, this little advert. But I'll talk about that when I go through my Ecstasy novels. Again, George Gross artwork on Thrill Girl. And it's very nice it is too. Really, as with all these, but this one's particularly hard to find in very good condition. And it's not bad, this one. It's got some little nicks here and there, but it's pretty decent. Thrill Girl, absolutely beautiful artwork by George Gross. Again, very saucy dress or negligee, you want to call it. By Jean Harvey, and that was a pseudonym used by Jack Hanley. And I've got to say, the artwork's a bit special. And this is from October 1950. And on the back, we've got a nice Ecstasy novel. Confessions of a Dime a Dance Queen. Ooh. Anyway, that's a bit special. Okay. On to Men Call Her Tramp. Not very nice, but that's what they apparently call her, bless her. Wearing a very nice sort of bra and panties in a very nice pink colour. Bit harsh calling her a tramp, but there's obviously a reason for it. But this is written by Joan Sherman. Again, it's a Peggy Cadiz pseudonym. Unsure of the artist on this one. It's a bit of a tricky one. I'm really wouldn't like to say, but it's really beautifully painted. The redhead lady here. Men Call Her Tramp. And this is from December 1950. Happy Christmas, everybody. Happy Christmas. Exotic novel. Got a few creases on this copy here. But it's worth every crease, as far as I'm concerned. This next one, Bodies on Fire. This is Hal Dodd. And flipping marvellous artwork by Hal Dodd. This copy, it's probably one of the best books I own, really, in terms of condition. They would call this basically fresh from the box. I don't think this ever saw the light of day in distribution. I think this was probably held in a warehouse in a box for many years, and it found the light of day. I literally finished collecting these particular series probably about 10 years ago, so I've been collecting these for a long time. I picked this up for an absolute steal in the condition it is. Bodies on Fire. This is February 1951 by Joan Sherman, which is Peggy Cadiz, and it is absolutely in fantastic condition. I would say unread. I certainly haven't read it, and you can see by the spine it's pretty perfect. Dangerous Female with a nicely posed by a professional model on the back. Yeah, it's a very fine to near mint book, and with some special Hal Dodd artwork. I'm a big fan of Hal Dodd. If you've been watching all these videos, you'll know that I I do go on about him. And I'm very lucky to own some original artwork as well, which I might do a little thing on. Again, they're both smoking. Good grief. They didn't get the email. Anyway. Tonight for Sure. Another exotic novel. Strange Bedmates was the original title, so it's a bit of a weird. But this is George Gross artwork, which is pretty obvious if you know your artwork. George Gross, absolutely beautiful the way he draws. James Clayford is the author, which is obviously Peggy Gadis, and this is number 14. So we've actually gone to a numbering system now. This is the first time. If I'm going back to the other book, there's no number on. No, there's no number on that one. So this is the first time we've got an actual numbering system for exotic, and it's number 14. And this is where they separate. So exotic now continues with the numbering system, and so does ecstasy. So 14, 15. It's just exotic novels. And again, beautiful artwork. And it's not in great condition, this book. It's got a few creases here and there, but I'm very happy. I had all these books for a long time, and I think they're pretty lovely. Man Crazy. Exotic novel, of course. James Clayford is our author this time. Artwork, it's a little bit cartoony. It's obviously Rudy Nappy. With some very, Rudy Nappy's got this very definitive eyebrow look about his artwork, and that is, well, it's just wonderful, and it's just beautiful. A bit cartoony, but I quite like it. It's got a quirk about it. Man Crazy, yeah, number 15 in the series, 1951. And again, my book's got a little crease down the centre there where it's been folded into the gent's pocket. And a very well-drawn redhead by Mr. Nappy. Very nice indeed. Just a few to go. There's the back cover. Nice yellow on this one. She Taught Them to Love. Whew. Man Crazy. Just 5 to go. We're getting there. This book's not in great condition. Bad as the Rest. Again, Rudy Nappy artwork. Absolutely beautiful. Sitting on a park bench. I think I discussed this the other day on the Argentinian copy that I had. As it's pointed out to me by my wife, I think that's a water fountain he's bending over there. Number 16. This is by Tom Stone, who was a pseudonym used by Florence Stonebreaker. So she used Tom Stone as one of her pseudonyms. How many lovers are too many? Well, probably 2 lovers is probably too many, love, but that's why the book sold, because they wanted to read about her adventures. Again, she's smoking, but Rudy Nappy could also paint a young lady. Those eyebrows are unbelievable. Sort of Roger Rabbit, Jessica Rabbit type artwork, really. But just beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. This one's, yeah, this copy's not in great condition either. But for this one, I think it was one of the last ones I bought. Really, I needed for the set, so I just bought a copy. It's pretty good, but it's got some wear and tear on the front. It's been left out in the sun. I think something's been left on it at some point. This is 10 Toes Up by Anthony Scott. This copy is quite tough to find, and I just, when I bought it, you can see the exotic novel's a little bit faded. A novel about sisters in sin. Davis Dresser was a pseudonym, so Anthony Scott was actually Davis Dresser. Really, I love the way 10 Toes Up is written. It's good graphics on that, and the artwork's beautiful. But I'm not sure who by. It can't be. It could be Rudy Nappy. It's not signed at all. But beautiful. Just a shame. I do need a better copy if I could find one. But A Woman's Right to Love. Yeah. Good for you, love. just 3 to go. Give Me Ecstasy. Again, my copy's not the best. But Mark Reed with this particular novel. This is number 18. It's nice artwork, a bit awkward. She looks a bit awkward, and I'm not sure if it's been painted that well. He looks pretty good, but when it comes to her, it looks like it's not quite gone right. But it's okay, and they're in a hayloft, so they're having fun. And he's obviously asking her, "Can you give me some ecstasy?" I don't think he means that. I think he's looking for the love type. But yeah. The blurb at the top is a bit worrying because they registered as brother and sister. So I'm not going to say anything more about that, but draw your own conclusions. But that's the sort of thing they would use in their blurb to try and make people go, "Whoa, this could be saucy." Trust me, it isn't. This is number 18 by Mark Reed. Give Me Ecstasy. Yeah, weird looking woman. Anyway, you shouldn't really be eating hay. You don't know where it's been, especially with all the rats and mice in there. Now, Fever Hot. Absolutely wonderful artwork. Top-notch artwork, I would go as far as to say. I would think that's George Gross, but I do believe there's no signature here. I don't think I've ever found one. I've not listed it. But Fever Hot by John Bulmer. Nothing burns hotter than a jealous woman's heart. Number 19, exotic novel. So you've got to go back to the time, 1951, with that sort of artwork being placed in front of you. You're going to buy it. I don't care who you are in the 1950s. You just couldn't get this type of book, and you were going to dip into your pocket and buy it straight away. Last one, Lovers Don't Sleep. Meet Susie, the girl who makes divorce a pleasure. Yeah, bless her. Laura Hale is the writer of this book, and the artist, I think it's Hal Dodd. Yeah. I haven't, there's no Hal Dodd, very rarely put his signature on there, but I'm pretty sure that's Hal Dodd. And very nice it is too. It's number 20, and this was the last one that Exotic, in the publication run of Exotic novels, this was the last one by Laura Hale, who was actually Lorenz F. Heller. And not a bad one to go out with. If you can see there, she's actually reading a digest book of sorts, and she's got stockings on there with a lovely pink dress, and very nicely painted as well. And that's it for Exotic novels. A really, really nice set of books. I'm very lucky to have them all, and they really are special to look at. Not so special to read, but they are romance novels. There's no getting away. There's no crime. There's no noir. There's no thriller about them, really. They're just basically romance novels. And great they are as well. So, yeah, if you see an exotic novel out in your travels, or if you see one online and you want to start collecting them, they're worth it. Maybe not for the stories, but certainly for the artwork. Anyway, thanks for checking back in to my little collection of exotic novels. I will do the Ecstasy ones as well, even though I'm missing one from that particular set, which, never mind. It's always good to keep searching. But yeah, check back in with me. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and leave a like and a comment and share and all that crazy stuff the kids do, and I would really appreciate it. Anyway, I will hopefully see you all again very, very soon for more paperback fun.